Genesis is definitely one of my favorite car brands right now. I think they're doing pretty much everything right. I do have a Genesis G90 for the week to review right now, and I stepped inside of it and I instantly felt like it's so good to be back in a Genesis. I fell in love with the interior with the G80, with the updated version, and now we have the G90 here, which sort of has more of a framing for the gauge cluster as well. It's just a beautiful, beautiful machine. And now we also have from the Seoul Motor Show, we have these two concepts. And let me tell you, these are not concepts. These are 100% going into production, because if you look at all the details in here, there is nothing about these vehicles that are conceptual to me. Everything is production ready. So what we're going to do is just have a look at these two stunning machines from Genesis, both the convertible in this beautiful velvety violet color and the green one for the coupe. Just beautiful. This does not feel like Genesis to me anymore. This feels more like Bentley in its in its approach to everything that goes on with these two vehicles. But before we do that, let's have a look at what this is all about from this article from Car Scoop's. Going to link it down below. So Genesis G90 Coupe and convertible are too beautiful for this world. I don't think so. I think we need more beautiful cars like this, because the thing is, now, as you know, everything's moving into crossover SUVs and regular SUVs. We don't have hatchbacks anymore, proper hatchbacks, like the old Golfs. We don't have sedans anymore. Convertibles are dying. But the good news is, there's still good news here, because we have Mercedes coming back with the S-Class Coupe. It's been spy testing, and it is coming into production. We have exhaust pipes coming back, being visible in cars again. We have new V12s being developed by Bentley, Aston Martin, meaning the V12s are going to stick around for a very long time moving forward. We have Dodge coming out with a V8 Charger, Hemi Charger. The Challenger, no, it's a Charger. I always mix those up. They've said that they're probably going to put the Hemi Charger V8 in the new Charger Daytona, which is fantastic to see. So there is a lot of good news here. And the interiors, Hyundai has said that they made a mistake moving away from physical buttons. Volkswagen said the same thing. So the changes that are happening right now in the automotive industry, I think it's a very good thing. I'm excited for what's to come. And I also want to see more convertibles and more big, large, beautiful luxury coupes like this one right here, which is one of the most beautiful coupes I think I've ever seen. It's such a beautiful design. So these both were unveiled at the Seoul Mobility Show, and both concepts borrow design cues from the earlier Genesis X Speedium and the convertible studies, which, by the way, also stunning looking designs. These have a little bit more conventional design to them. The brand hasn't confirmed production plans, leaving these striking coupes and convertible as design exercises. But, as I said, I can almost guarantee that these are going into production. There is nothing that is too conceptual for me when I look at these vehicles. Maybe the stance a little bit. We need to tuck in the wheels more into the body, but that's pretty much it for, putting these into production. So I'm almost 100% certain that these are going to go into production. If I can help it in any way, I'm making this video and pleading to Genesis to please put these two into production. The duo share resemblances to the X Speedium and the X convertible concept designed by Genesis over the past few years, although they aren't quite as dramatic. Both cars feature the brand's familiar two-line headlights, and you have the two-stroke design going from the headlights through the side into the indicators on the side, and then also into the taillights. Absolutely stunning design. Gorgeous 3D front grills as well. They personify athletic elegance, and I agree with that. Athletic elegance is a good description of these Genesis vehicles these days, specifically the sedans, and make us wish they were more than production, make us wish they were new production models. And car scoops, you don't have to worry. I'm telling you, these are going into production. So compared to the G90, both the X Grand Coupe and the X Grand Convertible have more steeply raked windshields and lower roofs, exactly what you want to see in sporty versions like this two-door. The brand's designers is also widened the fender, so it's lower and wider, and that changes everything about these proportions. They extended the belt lines and installed stunning wheels on both cars. I do like the wheel design here. Dominating the rear fascias of the two concepts are twin LED light bars and rectangular visible tailpipes. We're coming back. We're showing the exhaust pipes on sporty models, and I like to see that in the Genesis as well. The interior, Another great thing here about these interiors, you can see that this is pretty much production ready. And look at what we have here. Genesis moved away from this for a while. The new G80, the new G70, they both have dual screen setups, which is just two screens without any framing whatsoever. But here you can see that they're moving back to a housing for the gauge cluster. Absolutely fantastic to see that. You also have this separated unit here that we have in the G90 now as well for the climate settings. Some physical buttons and controls for that. Great. And this center portion here is also beautiful. When I look at this interior, it really doesn't feel like a Genesis car. As I said, it feels more like a high-end Rolls-Royce or Bentley or something like that. The interior of the coupe takes inspiration from Mediterranean olive trees with a combination of green and brown leather. Olive leaves motifs extend across the door panel, and there is intricate quilted stitching as well. The finish of the convertible cabin couldn't be any more different, as it's trimmed in blue, as you can see here, inspired by the colors of the grapes used to create Cabernet Sauvignon wine. The two concepts use the same basic steering wheel as the current G90. However, you can see this looks a little strange to me. They just added a third spoke here, and I'm not sure if this third spoke look like it naturally belongs in this vehicle, because it doesn't really have a connection here to this line at the bottom. But again, I always prefer 3-spoke over 2-spoke, and I also prefer 5-spoke over 3-spoke wheels, for example, like Saab used to have back in the day. But I don't know why I just mentioned that. It just popped up in my mind, I guess. The two concepts use the same basic steering wheel as the G90. However, they added this third spoke in the lower section. Now, one thing I've loved doing ever since I was a kid is sketching. Over the years, I've taught thousands of students the art of design sketching using simple tools such as just a big pen, some print paper, and maybe a few markers. And now, I've bundled all my classes into one mega bundle of sketching madness called Analog Designer Pro Pack, and you can get instant access to all 11 hours of content for just $47. Inside, I'll teach you everything you need to know about design sketching, whether it be sketching cars or products, and I'll introduce you to my personal favorite sketching technique called cloud sketching that you won't find anywhere else. And this simplifies perspective sketching and how to get the proportions right, which is crucial when you're sketching cars or products. I'll take you from complete beginner to more advanced rendering techniques, and you don't need any special or expensive art supplies for this. See what my students have to say about this course and how it's helped them, and check it out yourself at analogdesignerpropack.com, linked down below. Now, let's jump in here. Let's have a look at this design. And what it is I love about this vehicle is it's hard to explain, but this is what I want to see in cars in general. Is just that it is a sculpture on wheels. It's a piece of art. You have a beautiful line flow. Proportions are spot on. Wheel design looks absolutely fantastic on both of these. I do think the convertible has some very beautiful looking wheels as well. Yes, you can see them here. Bronze with this olive green, it's just a beauty of a thing. Now, Genesis need to build this. We need more cars like this in today's existence and in today's market that is overflowing by SUVs, crossovers, and boring cars. We don't have sedans. Ford's not making sedans anymore. But look at the designs here, how beautifully designed this roofline is, lowered from the G90 sedan. We have some sharp edges in the greenhouse right here, one shoulder line up here as well, and beautiful soft surfacing in the side. We have the two-line design with the taillights going into the indicator lights, and then of course extends right into the front headlights. And when I look at the G90 that's parked outside here, I look at the headlights. It's very interesting to see just how thin functional headlights can actually be today, because you don't really see any big light bulbs. Instead, you see these small cubes inside of the headlight strip here unit, and these function, I mean, they're great headlights. They work great when it's dark out. And it's very cool to see just how far technology has come when it comes to headlight design. You have the crest design here and the lower section that now has a clear connection to, you see this point in the front, how it dips in and creates this little dip in the lower section. So we have a connection with the top half graphics and the lower half graphics of this design. And honestly, Genesis has just absolutely nailed everything about both of these vehicles. Now, looking at the side view, the proper side view, you can see just the stance of this thing. The athletic elegance, as CarScoop called it. I think that is a perfect description of this vehicle, because we have a large greenhouse, and this is probably decent to fit, for grown-ups inside, for adults inside, because it is so big. Look at the wheelbase. Looks to be almost the same wheelbase as we have in the G90. Not sure if we have do we have a chrome trim piece down here for the lower section? It looks like we do, and I really like that, because what this does, it emphasizes one of the most important lines in this vehicle, which is this line down here at the bottom. You can see how it goes all the way across from the front end in the lower section, and I like that it's emphasized. It looks to be some sort of aluminum trim piece down there to just emphasize that line. You can also see the two-line design here going in from the front and through the entire vehicle. If we stretch this all the way back, they're going to connect to the rear taillights right here. And look at this. A nice send-off in the rear end with this ducktail design that we have. Very clean and chiseled design, and this is exactly what I want to see in a car like this. Just a nice send-off in the rear end with a subtle little ducktail in the rear end. And this is a car that, I've said this before, there are very few cars that I just want to have in my garage on a turntable and just sit there and have my tea or whatever I'm drinking, water, and just analyze have it spin around for me so I can just sit there and take in the beauty that is this design. Same goes for the convertible. It's not easy to create a convertible that looks this good with the roof down and the roof up. This one looks good in both. And this is the only rear end view I could find for both the coupe and the convertible. So this is what we have to go with here. But I'm pretty sure that the coupe is looking exactly the same as the convertible down here. And you can see just how chiseled this top piece is. Audi calls this a nail spoiler. It was introduced on the first generation Audi A5, designed by Walter De Silva and his team back in the day. They called it a nail spoiler, like a little nail. It's not too aggressive, it's not too pronounced, it's just a tiny little send-off in the rear end, and that is what we have here as well. You can see this convertible, here you can clearly see this trim piece that we talked about, how this line is emphasized by this silver trim piece that we have both in the convertible right here, looking absolutely beautiful, and we also have it in the coupe. And I love this color in combination with the blue interior. It's just a very classy spec for this car. And another thing that's great to see that is coming back now is that we do have the visible exhaust pipes down here at the bottom, looking great. Because when you have a luxury vehicle like this, I want to see exhaust pipes. When it's a luxury slash sporty design, if it's 100% luxury, for example, a Rolls-Royce Phantom, I don't necessarily require to see the exhaust pipes because it's supposed to be more subtle in a way. It's not a sports car whatsoever. This one, though, is a mix between sport and elegance, luxury, and I do think it suits to have the exhaust pipes visible. And the wheel design of both of these vehicles look great. They're so nicely done. I do prefer these ones of the coupe, though, because they have a more simple design, more straightforward spokes like this, which I like to see when we have luxury vehicles. I want to have multi-spoke designs on every single luxury vehicle because to me it just suits it better to have it be elegant like that. Now, looking at the front end with the roof down, again, to me, I don't know, I'm going to ask you, do you feel like this is, what price range would this be in? I'm not entirely sure. If it's about 70, 80K, to me this looks like a $300,000 vehicle. Just by looking at the design and the stance of this. We have, again, the one single line at the front end that below this, all the graphics starts. I love to see that. We have then these lines extending into the side, creating this muscle, subtle muscle right here. You can see the reflections, how they go in the body of the car into this muscle right here. And we have this line at the bottom with, in between the shoulder line, up here, the muscle, very subtle, calm ocean like surfacing in the middle section of the vehicle. And we also have another key line up here, sharp line dipping down from the A-pillar into the hood. You can see just how raked this A-pillar is, how steep the angle is to create this sporty vibe. for the Genesis, and this one is actually blacked out in the front end compared to the Coupe, which I do believe it was also blacked out. You can really see it. Love to see that it's blacked out there, looking very clean. And as I said, this looks good both with the top up and the top down, and this looks like a massive, elegant looking convertible to me. I do like this line that we have going around the greenhouse right here. This reminds me of a yacht design, looking very elegant and clean, and that we have this single line going in from the top itself, creating a very nice line here. One single continuous curvature going in again to the nail spoiler in the back, and it looks good rolling as well. These wheels, you can clearly see the brake discs behind it, and that is exactly what I want to see with luxury vehicles like this. Now, looking at the interior last, but definitely not least, this is mainly the reason why I feel like this is 100% going into production, because you have all these features here. You have the control panel here from the G90 climate settings here, G90 steering wheel, and a new integration of the gauge cluster right here with the housing for it, which is absolutely fantastic to see. And you have the rear passengers extremely loungy, comfortable back here. Looks like a first class airliner, in my opinion, with these pieces right here. You have some armrest and of course climate control settings, screens, whatever you want in the back. And I do like this combo of the violet exterior with the blue interior. Absolutely stunning design. And here we can more clearly see what the interior is made up of. This is what I was talking about. We have a new housing. So not just two plain screens sitting on top of the dash. Instead, they're separated now, with one screen being here for the infotainment screen and the other one being separated, because they're not the same screen. They're not supposed to be, you know, the gauge cluster is the driver-centric screen. That is the important screen. It should be separated from the infotainment screen that is just about random stuff that you can entertain yourself with. So the gauge cluster, I always want to have that be as a crucial part, separated from everything else in the cabin, because that is what the driver is supposed to be focused on, with the tachometer here, speedometer on the side, and a small third screen, I guess, in the middle right there. And this is very fun to see that they added this third spoke to make it a little bit more sporty, even though personally I don't think it necessarily suits it, because I want to have this third spoke have some sort of a connection to this lower section, but now it just crashes right into this line right here. But they made an effort, at least, to make it feel a little bit more sporty. We have the same control panel right here for the climate settings that we have in the G90, and overall this interior looks absolutely fantastic and 100% production ready in my opinion. So as I said, cars today, why are cars so why do I like cars so much? Have I ever really thought about that question? I see cars as pieces of art that we get to appreciate every single day when we walk out. There's really not any other product out there. If you think about it, cars, sculptures on wheels that all of us get to appreciate as soon as we step out the door. Is there any other product that does the same? Maybe boats and yachts, but we don't really see them every single day, do we? Cars, we see them every time we step out. So I think it's important. It's important to bring back beauty in car design, and I think that has been lacking for so long in this industry. And I think Genesis has not been steering away from it. There are a couple of brands, Aston Martin as well, with the new Vantage. Wow, I mean, what a vehicle that is. But for the normal, everyday car brands, Genesis is one of the best out there when it comes to design, when it comes to exterior design, interior design. And if anyone from Genesis upper level might be watching this video, please put these cars into production, because as I said, I feel like we all need more beauty in car designs. And these two examples here are a perfect example of exactly what it is I'm talking about.